Okay, welcome to Hilchot Shabbat according to the Shita of Rav Avadia Yosef. I'm delighted to invite Rav Aaron to come and teach us this book. So let's just show the book. This is the book that we're learning from, and you're welcome to try to get a copy of that.
Hilchot Shabbos, laws of Shabbos. Hilchot Hachanos l'Shabbos, laws of preparations for Shabbos. Knes hamitzrachim, purchasing your Shabbos needs. Now, the Torah says in the Torah Parasha Saman, in regarding the portion where it talks the story about the man. Haya bayom hashishi v'echinu es asher yavinu. And it was the sixth day. Behold, it was the sixth day, and they prepared that which they brought. Hachana ba miyat achar ba. Preparation comes the second you bring in the merchandise. You start the preparations. Shahasa by Barker, which was in the morning. Shinamar says over there, Vayikudu oitza by Barker, and they collected it the month in the morning. It says morning twice. Lamad chad, and to teach you, sheyesh lis dares lachim takei Shabbos, that you should hurry to make preparations for your Shabbos needs. Shehi mitzvah oit chashuva, which it's a very exalted mitzvah. Chen Amar Rabbi saying, so Chazal say, Oin yashkim otam lekanis takei Shabbos. Person should always start the day early, wake up early to start preparations for Shabbos. Shnamar says, V'haya bayoyim hashishi v'echina es asher yaviu. It was the sixth day, and they prepared that which they brought. But Medrash Tanchuma, and the Medrash says, Ein v'haya ele miyad, that the language of v'haya means immediate. Chen hu omer, and so says in Shmuel, v'haya ki kom plishti. And the Plishtim, they came to make war, and over there the Radak translates, says that it's the concept of tzrizas, of hurrying. If you in Chol Yom Tov Erev Shabbos, even if Erev Shabbos falls out on Yom Tov, Yesh Lachim Takei Shabbos B'Hekdem. There's a concept to start preparing your preparations for Shabbos early. Mitzvah Onik Shabbos, he mitzvah min Torah. The mitzvah of Onik Shabbos is from the Torah. Mitzvah Chashuva Himid, and it's a very important, exalted mitzvah. Tzrichim lizaher l'knes kol takei Shabbos b'yom hashishi v'lo b'yom hachamishi. It's very important to acquire your purchases for Shabbos on Friday and not on Thursday.
Acquired on Friday?
Yeah, to make the purchases for Shabbos on Friday specifically and not on Thursday. Like the Chachmei Yisrael conducted themselves for their needs of Shabbos.
Because the man was delivered on Friday twice, I guess.
Right, but they give you another reason here. He gives you another reason. Because the way of preparation is to prepare the day before. And we start preparing for his needs on Shabbos on Thursday. Then it's not recognized that he's making preparations for L'Chavet Shabbos. Like mitzvah the one who starts his preparations on Thursday, he did not make the hachanas the way how it's fitting to do so. Mihu, however, something that needs a lot of preparation. Meat that needs to be salted and rinsed or marinated in order to have it prepared for Shabbos. So that is something you could purchase earlier on Thursday, and in order to do the proper, make all the preparations you need with it. The cooking of it, however, should be on Erev Shabbos. And so too, something that you don't find, it's a weird item and you won't find it easily on Friday. And this particular item is part of Einik Shabbos. Then this particular item, it's better to buy on Thursday. Or earlier if it's even more rare. Anything that he purchases, he should mention with his mouth and verbally that he's acquiring it Chavet Shabbos. His daris k'meitiv yichol Chabad as a Shabbos. Afilu b'davar mu'at. A person has to hurry as much as his ability allows him to start preparing for Shabbos early, even if it's just a small thing. Because even if one does a lot or a little, the main thing is that he directs his heart to heaven. All a person's sustenance is prepared for him. It's from Rosh Hashanah until the following year, Rosh Hashanah. Except for any expenses he has that goes for Shabbos or Yom Tov, or in order to teach his son Talmud Torah. The Baba Meir says that expenses for Rosh Chodesh is also inclusive. And you're allowed to borrow with ribbis of the Rabbanon, which is basically ribbis without like a designated amount beforehand, and for the sake of Einik Shabbos, the mitzvah of Einik Shabbos, should be Makam mitzvah like Gazu Chachamim, because the Chachamim didn't decree their Gzeira when it comes to for a mitzvah. So they sort of like waived this issue that they put on for the sake of a mitzvah. Places where the Gentile fish peddlers, like they raise the price of the fish to be more expensive. Since they're aware that the Yidden are going to buy, that they are going to spend more money to buy the fish for Chavet Shabbos, so they raise the price, to jack the price up to make more money. The heads of the community, they're allowed to make a decree, to come to the conclusion that no one has permission to buy fish. In order to get the sellers, the fish merchants, to lower their prices. So that in order that even the poor amongst us are able to honor Shabbos is as it's proper with fish, to properly honor Shabbos with fish, and to make it affordable prices. And this is the law, even if the fish merchants are Jews. Because all this, also yad achas yaker shar dakim b'shvil hayudim. And this is all this is as long as all the fish merchants got together and they decided to as one to make this plan to sell the fish more expensive, so that since they know that the Jews will pay a more higher price for fish than it's actually worth in honor of Shabbos. ואם כל המצרכים נסקרו, שערך המת בו הוזל, but if the reason for that the fish is more expensive is because the worth of the coins has gone down, of the currency went down, and similar reasons, then it's not, then the relevancy of making this of this takana that you should not buy the fish, the more expensive fish, doesn't apply. And this is also true. This is the case if the reason of the expensive fish is because of the cold. In a dagim banard, because you don't. There's not a lot of fish in the river, and therefore there's not a lot of fish in the market, and that's the reason for the more expensive price. That's the reason why the fish are more expensive, is because they're more scarce. The availability is not as much. In that case, there's no place to make this rule that nobody should be able to buy the fish, since it doesn't apply. The reason for it. Someone. A Jew that bought fish for more expensive fish in this previous scenario that we mentioned, before the verdict, this takana went out that you shouldn't buy you shouldn't purchase the fish. If you already purchased it beforehand, then you're allowed to eat it in honor of Shabbos. There are those who say that all this applies, particularly if the price of the fish got jacked up more than a third of their actual worth. But if the price was raised only until a third of their worth, then you don't put this out, this verdict that people shouldn't purchase them. Because we learn it says in the Gemara, Chazal say that the beautifying the mitzvah is up to a third, meaning more than its actual worth price. However, bottom to the halacha is that we don't make a difference. So we're still suspect that even if they just raise the price a bit, then we're still concerned that those who are never able, that the poor people won't be able to acquire the fish. And therefore, we don't make a difference if it's above a third or less than a third. Chalas Shabbos. Chal mitzvahs kibbutz v'onik Shabbos, inclusive in the mitzvah of honoring and onik Shabbos. Lasets betek sheyesh by shir chalas. It's to make dough that this dough is big enough a batch of dough that it's obligated to take. You're obligated to take challah from it. Shabbos, and to bake it in honor of Shabbos. So that the women could fulfill the mitzvah of separating challah. Isha oisa isa b'erev Shabbos kishur challah. Someone who made a batch of challah erev Shabbos that has the proper amount of challah to take challah from it. Without the lachakla la'acher afia lebnei mishpachasa. And she has in mind that after she bakes the challah, to distribute the challahs to her children, to her household. For example, to her married children and in-laws. She's obligated to take challah from it with a bracha.
Even if it's not for her.
Right. Even because it's saying that the dividing the challah into small parts, so you might think that because it's that since you're dividing the challah, once it's divided, that each challah won't have enough challah to take off. So they say no, because you're baking when you make the batch of dough to begin with. At that time it's chayv and challah, so therefore you take off challah. Mitzvah yaisa mi b'shluchai. It's more a mitzvah to do it yourself than to have someone else do it. Even if a person is respected and very honored person, and he has servants or workers that could prepare all of his Shabbos needs. And generally doesn't involve himself in household work, or to go to the market to buy stuff. Mitzvah shishtalta ba'atzmai leichem v'mar yodav davar misim tzarkei Shabbos. It's a mitzvah that he himself should do something with his physical hands in order for the needs of Shabbos. In order to honor it. Because it's more of a mitzvah than if he sends his agent, if somebody else does something for him. And so it says in the Gemara, Avchista parim silka, shaya michtach hatardim gedele basal mchavet Shabbos. Avchista used to slice beets in order that he could cook them in honor of Shabbos. Rabbi Bar Nachmenu haya mafka eitzim patzlon gedele vashal pahem. Rabbi Bar Nachmanu used to chop wood and splinter it, cut it in order that he could cook with this wood. He could use it to cook, to make a fire and cook with it. Rav Safra k'shahayim mizdamen lo yiresh shal behema hayim machrech ba'atzma esher shal behema. When Rav Saba had the head of a beast, of a cow, or any other of cattle, appeared for him. The head of he used to singe it himself in order to get the burn the hairs of the head from the bema. He used to do it himself. Rava used to salt fish. Rabzeir used to light a fire in order to cook. Abba used to go to the market to acquire meat and other food items and beverages in honor of Shabbos. All these Maroon, they were big people and they used to do this work themselves. Whoever increases in this, meaning the more you do, the more praiseworthy it is. It's good to sharpen the knife so that you can use it in order to cut your food easily. Because if the metal gets dull and therefore you're not able to cut well with it, Imana Shalom bias will affect the Shalom bias, the piece in the house. After he sharpens the knife, it's permissible to cut with it for the first time even on Shabbos. And you don't suspect that he's smooth that by cutting the food for the first time, through that he's smoothing the knife. That's considered the complete melacha, which is Asr and Shabbos. Now make a complete job. Like you have a keli, you have a tool, and you're not let's say you have a doorknob and you put on the last screw. That's making sure the doorknob is well. That's forbidden because it's called makah b'patish, the last makah. It's usher. So usually you're concerned about such things. But kol shu teichach for inkavan is elo teicha makah b'vad. But anything that you, as long as you're cutting and his only intentions for the sake of the food, Shita delay shachba, but is a makapatish. In this case, it's simple that the iser of makapatish doesn't apply. Therefore, there's no issue. Mitzvah time hatashul be'erev Shabbos be'erev Yom Tov. It's a mitzvah to taste the food that you prepare for Shabbos and Yom Tov and erev Shabbos and Yom Tov. In order to fix them if they need to modify them and prepare them, it should be fitting to eat on none of Shabbos and Yom Tov. Kippus, washing. As I say for based in Tiknu Shia, as I say for and his based in they established that you should wash your clothing for Shabbos on Thursday. Nekafada Shabbos or none of Shabbos, clearing to say, Shabbos, you shouldn't wash your clothing on erev Shabbos. Only you should hasten a bit earlier on Thursday. So that way, on erev Shabbos, you have free time to focus only on the needs of Shabbos, and honor of Shabbos. And so too is the din, the law, if you wash your clothing on Wednesday. If Rosh Chodesh falls out on Thursday, then, and since like, and women have conduct themselves, they have a minhag not to wash on Rosh Chodesh, and therefore if Rosh Chodesh falls on Thursday, then you go a day earlier into Wednesday. Or then you, or even Wednesday. So then you could start wash the clothes for Shabbos even on the first 3 days of the week. Because the main reason for this rule, this establishment, was so that Friday should be free for the needs of Shabbos. So therefore, if you're not able to wash it on Wednesday or Thursday because of Rosh Chodesh, then you could wash your clothes even the first few days of the week. And today, and these days, since we have washing machines, you don't need to spend a lot of time on washing your clothing. It seems like it's permissible to wash your clothing even on erev Shabbos, since it doesn't take up much time. However, in any place, initially, you should still wash your clothing before Friday, so that way the entire erev Shabbos, the whole day Friday, could be completely free for the needs of Shabbos. Mutar says begotten teich mechonis kibisa erev Shabbos some kushkis achama, and you're allowed to put your clothing into the washing machine on erev Shabbos close to sunset. And they'll wash themselves on Shabbos. And our Ashkenazic brothers conduct themselves to be like the Ramah, to be more stringent. Only if there's a great need, then to wash clothes, put them very close to Shabbos.
But now with washing machines, we're allowed to do laundry on erev Shabbat.
Yeah, he said that. So he's talking about. I think he's talking about the last thing. He's talking about getting close to Shabbos. There's an issue of using a washing machine, allowing the washing machine to run on Shabbos.
If you started it before.
Yeah, you've started that the cycle goes into Shabbos. There's an issue of the serenity of Shabbos, that the noise of the machine might disturb the serenity of the Shabbos. He says it's right, but Ashkenazim are more stringent. They're concerned that it's not that it does disturb.
Ashkenazi brothers, exactly. So we've only got a few minutes. Did we get to the end of that section?
Yes.
So let's stop there, and then we'll pick it up next week.
B'ezrat Hashem.
Thank you so much. Chazak u'baruch.
Amen.
You know what I love about this book